Hey there guys, what is going on? It is Gale right here, back on 5-9 Mobile, and today we're going to be talking about a game that costs you $110,000 to max out a single character. And yes, I'm talking about what's on your screens right now, Diablo Immortal. Today with me to talk about all of this and dissect it from a gacha player's perspective, we have Tystra. Say hello, mate.
What's going on, my dudes? And hello, Gale. I can't wait to hear this, to be honest. This is great.
Yeah, as gacha players, we're used to our own fair share of bullshit, shall we say, when it comes to gacha games and, you know, and how much you have to spend to max out a character. But even as a gacha player, we've never heard of anybody needing to go 6 figures for one single character and maxing them out, right? We've seen Truth going 10,000 stones, which is approximately, let's say, $5,000 for him to max out SSBE Goku or SSBE Vegeta and SSB KK Goku, right? We've seen in Genshin you need $5,500 to $6,000 for both weapon and character, so both of them at the same time. Tystra, how do you feel as a Genshin player seeing this title? Not a Genshin player, but a gacha player, I should say. I don't know why I said just Genshin. I meant to say gacha player. How do you feel about this, mate?
I feel like I need to spend more money on gacha now. No, it's absolutely abysmal to see something like this because it feels as though a AAA company wanted to get on the gacha train because they see how much, you know, something like Genshin has made. Like, Genshin's made a lot of money. And, you know, this isn't to shy away from many other gachas like Dokkan, Legends, you know, all those other, like, really, you know, high-earning gacha games. But it literally feels like a AAA company went and got into the gacha market and had no idea exactly what they were supposed to do. They think that, you know, only a couple of people are spending this money, so we have to jack up the prices. But $110,000 to fully rank up and level up one singular character. And people gave me crap about my summons. Like, I have abysmal summons. I couldn't imagine going $110,000.
Yeah, the thing is, remember, and this is more so us talking about from a, you know, human standpoint, or this is $110,000. I don't think I have $110,000 with me and my family's money together combined. I don't, well, I think I do, but not, but it would pretty much be our life savings and just our rent, you know, and everything. So the average person is definitely not going to spend this much money. But yeah, effectively what's happened here is the game basically drops you legendary gems, and they drop from legendary crests, which are the game's loot boxes. Now, as a player, you can get 3 per month for free. But the thing is, the rates in the drops are pretty abysmal. To get the 5-star gems, which is the highest rarity, you need, it's a 0.05% chance to get the drop, and it's bad. It is really, really bad. We'll come on to another point later on in the video about the pity, because there is apparently a pity system in the game, but there is a little bit of an issue, so we'll talk about it later on in the video. But basically, you know, once you get your, there is a whole level of upgrades that only unlock once you get your 5-star gems to rank 10, and you have to increase that rank yourself as well, which can cost money, or you can, you know, just wait and save up as well, which would take you a long time. So if you add up everything, you trying to max out your gems, trying to get the gems to drop in the first place by spending money and all of that jazz, because it's a lot of money. It just adds up to a lot of money, right? Because you're spending on, well, first and foremost, getting the gems, then upgrading them, and then getting more gems to make sure you can, you know, stock them up as well, because you need to have multiple gems as well. By the way, it's not just one gem you have to upgrade to maximum. There's multiple as well, because you're going to resonate these boards as well. It's ridiculous. Tystra, what would you say to this? Because effectively what you're doing is you're spending at least minimum around, I would say, $20,000 to $30,000 at least per gem. What would you say to that? Because for us, getting a dupe alone on just a single copy of a character in a gacha game, be it Genshin or Dokkan or whatever, doesn't usually take more than, let's say, $400, $500 maybe.
Oh no, absolutely. And I could actually, like, use that as a real world thing, because I, you know, for Ganyu on Genshin Impact, I spent between my C0 and my C1 for Ganyu about $500, which I shouldn't have even spent that. 30 to 40,000? Like, really? That's, oh my God. Like, if I had $30 to $40,000, I would, you know, be able to pay off my debt and be able to afford me a brand new car. I can't imagine spending that on Diablo Immortal of all freaking things. Like, wow. That is...
It's bad. It is bad.
And isn't it like, you know, a dupe for us? Like, comparatively, let's say that, like, let's use Dokkan, where you have to get 1 and you have 4 dupes is equal to 30 of what Diablo Immortal is doing. Like, you have to get 30 of the same thing to actually max it out, and that is absurd with how much money you're gonna have to spend to actually get that 30.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, this is a lot less than what we initially predicted, because Nolar and I actually, you know, looked into it a little bit right before launch. I think it was a couple of hours before launch, because we were looking at the beta stuff, right? And we estimated it at around $200,000 initially. Then we realized that there were some miscalculations in terms of how much gear you actually needed or how many gems you actually needed in total. But even then, it was still it's still a crazy amount. Once you hit 6 figures in any mobile game, that's a question mark in itself, right? And the thing is, this is also, you have to remember, Diablo Immortal is based off other Diablo games, which didn't necessarily require you to spend this much money. The fact that there is a single stat in the game that costs you around $50,000 alone, it's genuinely one of the worst things I've seen in my entire life, in all honesty. I think there is a bit of a problem here, and it's ridiculous to see, you know, players having to spend $50,000 minimum to be able to get these stats. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, imagine if that were applied to, say, Dokkan or Legends. I don't think we would be even seeing these games alive right now, because gachas aren't meant to do that. Yes, they're meant to drain your money for sure, but they're meant to drain it in a way where it's subtle. It's something that you wouldn't even notice you're doing until you've done it, kind of thing, right? Here, you're gonna be bleeding out of your rear consistently, right, Tystra? Because that's one thing we've realized, right? Gacha games have a very, very effective way of taking your money. This doesn't feel effective at all.
No, this literally feels like deterring you away from the mobile market. Especially since, you know, when you look at gacha games, the one thing that I could say a lot of gacha games at least do for the most part, or a good majority of them, even though they may not last a long time, is that they have a decent free-to-play experience. Diablo Immortal does not have that free-to-play experience. You're either paying a buttload of money, or you are literally not playing this game. And even then, the people who may even spend on this game are probably looking at this and be like, what am I doing with my life? I think this is the first time a game that has had the gacha element has literally unified a community so, like, inclusively for the most part. Like, probably an 80-90%, you know, inclusion of this game is terrible, and it's literally, you know, it should be illegal. It absolutely should.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read this small thread, basically, or Reddit post from this guy. His name is Damien. Damien. I'm just gonna call him Damien. So it costs you about $40,000 to $45,000 to fully max out 6 5-star gems to rank 10. So that's 6 gems you need, basically. They're a 5% drop rate. You need 100 of the each plus the corresponding gem power. So it basically around $45,000. Let's say that's one minimum. Then you need to do the resonating board, because once you max them out at rank 10, you can unlock their resonating board. We don't know what the resonating bonuses are, apparently. Well, based on the beta. This is based off the beta, and this is now what's being applied in the game, actually. Apparently, it costs you at least another 5 gems to resonate with. So that means each board will require you like 5 gems, or each 5-star gem will require you another 5-star gems. Again, that's why Tystra mentioned 30 gems, basically, right? So that's another $50,000, let's say $50,000 to $60,000. You are effectively spending $100,000 right there. There you go. There's the maths done for you right there. It is genuinely ridiculous. Imagine, okay, the best way to describe this is, imagine you played Dokkan, right? You have your main character, and then you have your 4 dupes. Imagine within those dupes, you have to do another 4 dupes. Taisha, how would you feel about that?
Dude, don't even, bro. That already makes me cringe so much. Imagine going from getting 4 dupes to 16 dupes. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Oh my! I don't think anybody would be playing Dokkan at that point.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is one of the problems, right? Because I think even if you removed, say, the extra, say, I think that would be 30 gems you need, basically, right? So 6 5-star gems and then 5-star gems around it and whatever. So let's say you remove that part, right? And it's only 6 5-star gems you need to max out. That's it, right? But the problem is the rates are so bad, you don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that. It's a 0.05% chance of getting a 5-star gem for each legendary crest used. 0.05% chance. I've never seen rates that low in any game. Nada. Obviously, when it's okay, if you look at a gacha game and you look at the unfeatured pool, you'd probably see that. But even featured units are like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, or even 1% at times, right? Sometimes they're even that good. The fact that it's 0.05% means you'll rarely see it. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then on top of that, apparently there is a pity system, basically, at 50 legendary crests. And at $100, you get 45, right? Okay, so that means if you spend another $100, well, the 5th legendary crest in that second set should guarantee you a 5-star gem, right? One legendary gem, by the way. Sorry, it should be 1 legendary gem. It doesn't mean it's a 5-star gem, it's only a legendary gem. Twitch streamer Quinn69 spent around $3,000 to $4,000. Here it says $3,000. There's another article that says $4,000 he spent, and he didn't see a single 5-star gem. So what this means is the pity system either works in one of 2 ways. 1, it doesn't work at all, actually. But 2, the legendary gem you get isn't 5 stars guaranteed. That's a problem right there. How do you feel about this? Because technically in Genshin we have a similar-ish concept, right? Where if you hit the first pity, you're not guaranteed the new unit, but the second time you are guaranteed the new unit. Here it doesn't seem like that. What do you think, Taisha, about this situation?
So let me put it this way, since we are talking about Genshin. Let's make it like this. What if you were polling on Genshin, and instead of the guaranteed 1 4-star every time you summoned, it's all 3 stars. And then at 75 to 90, you are guaranteed at least 1 4-star. But then, after you spent that like 4 times, then you could possibly get a 5-star. That doesn't even come close to this still. Like, this is just abysmal. Like, why would you put the rate so low? Why would you make this fail-safe system that doesn't actually freaking work? And if it does work, why would you put it like that? Especially when you want to keep your player base. The whole point of a gacha game of some sort, and yeah, maybe this isn't exactly gacha, but it's got the aspects of gacha. It's there. We already know it's there.
A gacha is a loot box. It's the same concept, right? It doesn't matter. A gacha doesn't have to be from East Asia to be a loot box title, right? It's the same concept. So it doesn't matter if it's gacha or not gacha. The ideas are the same. And yes, sure, you can say that this is more of an MMORPG or whatever. That doesn't make a difference. You look at any other, again, gacha title, it's the same idea, basically. You pay or you free to play, get currency in-game by grinding, and you put it in to get materials or characters or weapons to basically fill out your roster, right? Same concept here, basically.
I have never seen like, let's say this is an MMO. Let's say it's not a gacha or a loot box or anything. I have never seen an MMO make you spend this much money to rank up a character. Hell, it boils down to you playing the game and grinding your character. You know, and me and you have played so many RPGs and probably so many different MMOs that the grind and time makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Why would you make your player base spend so much money to get this fully ranked up character, and then all you're gonna do is probably come up with another class of character in the game, and they're gonna have to spend another $110,000 just to get that character maxed out, and then you do it again. It's a gacha with, terrible aesthetics in the sense of your pull rates, your pity system, and how much you're spending in general. Like, if you wanted a do's and don'ts of how to do a mobile gacha game, look at Diablo Immortal. It's the perfect example.
Yep, exactly. And of course, there have been also clear-cut, talks and reviews that have said, right, where the early game isn't bad, and even after level 35, you do require to grind a lot to get to 60, but it isn't bad. You don't feel that pressure just then. But once you hit 60, of course, the pressure is gonna hit in, right? And especially once they start adding more and more content, or you start facing off against players, you're gonna feel that pressure to give in to the microtransactions. Well, first and foremost, I would say don't give in, and second of all, stop playing the game. I would recommend those two things for sure. Because yeah, I think that's a basic thing in every mobile game. I feel like the early game to mid game is not bad, and then once you get to the late game is when you start feeling that pressure. So yeah, it's nothing new here. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a good thing, because that's something that should have been the case. I mean, if the game required you to also get into microtransactions from the get-go, then that's just not a good game at all. Another thing that has popped up as well is that the director himself has said, oh, there's just misinformation being spread about the microtransactions and the fact that, oh, gems and gears are dissimilar and stuff. It's really, really weird, because what the director is basically saying here is that effectively, effectively the gear itself isn't gems, which again, I really don't get what he's trying to defend himself here, if he's trying to just dodge the question necessarily or not. But I am so confused by this perspective that he's going for here, and what he's planning on doing, because what he says here is that you can only upgrade your gear with dollars once you reach the free quota of the day. It's currently almost $12 to just even simply try to upgrade one piece of gear, as the failure rate is 50-50. I think it's pretty clear with this game out that this was not the case. And that doesn't change the fact that you're spending money to get gear and stuff. You literally misinformed the community originally. This is bad. What do you think, Taisha, about this?
This is an absolute PR nightmare. We know that Blizzard is a terrible company at this point. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the one to say it. The actions that have been taken by Blizzard in the last few years have been nothing short but of extraordinarily terrible. And this is another extraordinary terrible decision. Why would you release Diablo Immortal like this? And why would you, in essence, deny that that's even the case? Why would you dodge these questions? Your player base deserves to know your thought process on why you think this game needed to go this route. Your game shouldn't have to go this way. But it has, and now's the time for you to stand up and take ownership. You made a very, very terrible game in the sense of, preying on people's gambling addiction. Yep. And this is absurd.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a very, very ridiculous, pedestal to stand on. And, where I don't think he should. I think there should be some sort of like remorse. I wouldn't necessarily say remorse, because I don't think these guys will have remorse. They're getting money out of this, right? At the end of the day, that's the thing. But what they need to do is, acknowledge the fact that they have made a mistake and just, fix it. It's as simple as that, because they're gonna lose players like this. I mean, I'm pretty sure they made money out of this. I think this is probably one of the best case examples of a pump and dump scheme, effectively, right? Kind of thing, where they're just gonna bank on getting some quick money and then just shutting down the game in a few months or a year from now or something like that, right? And there are people who are defending them, where it's like, oh, it costs $50 million in 6 years to make. Genshin cost $100 million to produce and market and everything, and they're fine. They've made over $4 billion in the span of 2 years. Completely fine. And they're not charging the players the same amount. Yes, they are charging players to spend around $5,000 to max out a character, but that doesn't mean they're spending $110,000. And it's not as if it's a case of like, oh, you need to spend on Genshin. No, you can easily go free to play. We were doing the math, I think, a couple of days ago. On Twitter, I saw some people doing the math. I saw it in my Discord and stuff like that. People did the math. If you went completely free to play, not even Welkins, not even Battle Pass on Genshin, from start to now, you would at least have 13 5-stars for free in your account easily, be it with dupes or without dupes, including that. That's still really good, because in Genshin, the 3 stars are the 4 stars are usable and the 5 stars are usable as well. They're all usable. They can build teams. Like, the biggest and the most popular team in Genshin right now consists of 4 stars. You don't even need the 5 stars. Yes, obviously, as a collector, you would want to try and get all the 5 stars, but that's never going to happen in any sort of gacha game or collector's game. They're going to drag the money out of you no matter what. So, in my opinion, Genshin does it in a much better way. Diablo Immortal is pressurizing you to spend the money, and also spend a lot of money at that. It's a problem there. It's very, very bad. Final thoughts, Tystra, from you?
It's very predatorial. We deal with this on a consistent basis when it comes to gachas, but never to this length. And it's absolutely abysmal that Blizzard would even think that this is the way to go. I truly, truly hope and pray that at some point during this whole, opening week going into, the opening month in general, that they find a way to really reconcile with its player base, reimbursed, players that have spent this ridiculous amount of money to max out even just one character, and hopefully it turns around to be a good game. But honestly, with Blizzard's track record, I doubt that's going to be the case. So my heart goes out to you players of Diablo Immortal. Find another game. This isn't it.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed with you on that one. But there we go, guys. There's our thoughts on Diablo Immortal. I would have loved to, I think Nolar should have been here for this video, but he's busy on vacation, unfortunately. He would have been giving you guys a lot more of a rant than we guys gave. We've basically been just the disappointed dad basically here in this situation, in all honesty. But Nola would have been great for this video as well, but unfortunately you guys got us. Obviously we'll try and do maybe a follow-up video on this if they do plan to fix it or anything of that sort. We'd love to see what you guys have to say in the comment section as well about the game, if you played it or not played it, if you've been observing from the sides. What do you guys think as well? Curious to see what y'all have to say. Thank you, Tystra, for joining me on this video, and of course, if you guys enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.